Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freaks with a Z, the podcast about movies. Each episode is about a particular movie, and we'll get to that movie in a little bit. But first, as usual, I need to invite you, the listener, to request a movie or suggest a movie for the fan vote. The vote happens during Tay's episode, so you still have a couple weeks to get that in if you want to. New stuff always gets pushed to the top. You can send us an email at ff.filmfreaks at the end of gmail.com, or leave a comment on the latest episode of Film Freaks on YouTube, and or head over to the Discord, link down in the description usually, and talk in the movie stuff section and say, hey, this is the movie that I want you to review. We put it to a vote in the Discord, and then, hey, you get to choose our fate for what we review. We do have the 150th episode coming up. That we still haven't decided what movies we're going to watch for that, but we'll let you know when that comes around. I think it's coming around soon. But anyway, let's get into this. I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I'm here with...
Taymation.
Ray Positivity.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. It's season 4. Man, we need to find someone for the podcast. We need 4 people here. Who the heck should we get?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, didn't we already tell everybody who we were getting?
Tay, you're ruining the illusion.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we definitely need a 4th person.
Who could
I
it
sure think so.
possibly be?
Man, maybe someone will join the call and join the podcast for season 4.
Hey, it's me, Callus.
Oh my God, it's
Oh my
Callus.
word.
Dallas.
Callus.
Wow.
He's back.
This
I'm
is brand new
back.
information.
No one could have seen this coming.
This is such a
I
shocking
didn't.
surprise.
This is the twist
mean-
of the century.
I thought
The
you had
last
died.
episode- yeah, I did. I died and came back. But I mean, the last episode that I was like officially a member of the cast, I did say I'll be back. So I mean, there we go.
I
You
bet.
kept your
Did
promise.
you go back and
All right.
re-listen
I don't
to
know
the
if
episode?
I have no idea if I said that.
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
Well, Callus, why don't you get us up to speed on what you've been doing since you've been gone?
Well, first of all, I want to say, well, Lou has come crawling back to the Blue Man. Y'all were so quick to kick me out of the podcast, and now y'all come crawling back to me. Well, now I'm gonna make you all pay for that.
Wow.
Ooh.
I was going to make us watch Brightburn again.
Oh no,
Yes.
it's been coming.
I appreciate you, Yemmy, for picking out this movie for me as a way to welcoming me back. But now I'm gonna welcome you guys to hell.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you guys regret inviting me back.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
I'm kidding.
It's the spicy
I got some great
season.
movies picked out. No, but I've had a lot happen in my life recently. I moved to Tampa. I've been kind of like switching careers. I'm like currently trying to get another new job. But I've been very busy. I've been kind of streaming on and off at least once a week, sometimes twice, if you guys are lucky. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. Been playing a lot of games, been watching a lot of movies, etc.
Well, we're glad to have you back, chaos and all. And
Yeah, happy to be back.
if you do decide to pick Brightburn, I think that we're gonna lose Tay, and we'll have to start a new season.
Shortest season ever.
Okay, so it's allowed to pick a movie that's already been watched? Is that something that's allowed in the rules?
No, actually, no.
It
That's
is.
actually rule number 1 is no repeat movies. So sorry, Callus.
Oh, good. We can keep the season 4 going.
Yeah.
But there was a once upon a time where I was like, oh, maybe we should do a rewatch of a movie. And the
Yeah.
room goes silent.
That would be the one. That would be the one. It would be Brightburn. You know what's funny is
a movie that was like not. I mean, we all pretty much agreed Brightburn was bad. We need a movie that was like decisive. Like, you're not
What's,
decisive.
I rated Brightburn like a 2.5. And I feel like that was kind of high, especially after all the other movies that we've watched since then.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
funny is that I still have yet to watch that movie myself.
Well, I mean, how are you going to join in on the conversation? It's just going to be you and me, Tay, talking about Brightburn sometimes. Oh, my
Okay.
God. Well,
You know
anyway,
what? I'm okay with that.
Callus, we are happy to have you back. Greedy, he's gone. He's a listener now. He'll be back probably for fan votes, but he is.
No, not greedy.
I think it was
outta here.
today, about like a half hour before we started recording, that I went, why? Usually Greedy has posted by now that he's ready to record. Where is he? And then like it finally came. He was like, oh yeah, he's gone.
Aw, that's
Aw.
sad.
The room like zoomed out, did that pan out and
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's okay because we have Ray. Hi, Ray. This is only our second time ever speaking to each other.
How
I
are you
know. That is crazy. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm getting good.
Folks, I miss my old friend.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, you and Greedy always had stories to tell about movies you saw together as kids.
I can keep that going in memory of Greedy.
All right, good.
Aw.
But who will watch the wrong movie?
Yes, let's get the joke going.
Greedy's
That's
probably
Callus's job now.
Greedy's swearing. He's like, "What the fuck? I thought this was over." Hey,
Hey, Greedy. It's because we miss you.
yes, of course. It's because we love and miss you,
Yeah.
but also we're gonna probably still keep bringing that up every so often. So.
Yeah.
It's fine, guys. Let's get to the review of Deep Space Nine now.
Huh?
Deep Space Nine is a great show.
Oh, that's a show. Okay.
Hmm.
No wonder it was so long.
Yeah. Yeah. 7 seasons. Wow. And this was in the 90s when seasons were like 24 to 26 episodes long.
That's insane.
Good show, though. It is. But that was not our movie. Yemmy, why don't you tell us what our movie was?
Wow, great transition, Tay. Oh my
you.
goodness.
I've been here long enough that I finally kind of know what to do.
Well, yes, I picked a movie in the spirit of Callus coming back. I said, Callus, what kind of movie do you want to watch? I had 3 options of genres. And he said, you know what? I'm feeling kind of like a spy, undercover kind of thriller movie. And I said, okay, I might have one that's not Mission Impossible. And
Might, so you weren't even sure.
I don't know. Anyway,
Oh, you found one.
I did. This is the movie Deep Cover from 1992, directed by Bill Duke. And it is about a black police officer named Russell Stevens who applies for a special anti-drug squad which targets the highest boss of cocaine delivery to L.A., the Colombian foreigner minister's nephew. And Russell works his way up from the bottom undercover until he reaches the boss. And this one stars, of course, Lawrence Fishburne, Jeff Goldblum, Victoria Dillard, Gregory Sierra, Clarence Williams III, and many, many more. And this is a movie that was on one of those lists where it's like, hey, if you liked this movie, you'll like this one. And I'm like, oh, I liked that movie, so maybe I will like this one. It's also kind of funny because we've done 90s movies pretty much for the last like 5 episodes now. So we're keeping pretty consistent with the 90s movies right now. We'll see if Callus keeps that trend going. But the first thing that I wanted to mention was it kind of took me off guard when the opening credits said the name Larry Fishburne instead of Lawrence Fishburne.
I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it said Larry, and I was like, was this one of his like first performances? Was he going by Larry back then? And I believe this was one of his first major roles. So I am glad that he switched to Lawrence because it just rolls off the tongue better with his last name, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Agreed. I
For
agree.
real.
the opening credits were going, and I'm like, Larry? Who's Larry?
I think I just saw L. Fishburne and I went, yeah, okay.
That's him, L. I guess the
Lawrence
real place to start
Fishburne.
is more so like the opening credit sequence was weird. It was like this
Yes.
really
I
slowed
fast
down.
forwarded through it.
I wanted to. It was so slow, but it was like this. It was like this digitally slowed down part of the movie that only
The
happens
thing
like
is,
10
it wasn't
minutes later.
digitally slowed down, though, I don't think. I think it was just, they just copied each frame multiple
Yeah, it's very
times.
weird.
Yeah, it was awkward and weird, and I was like, is this the tone of the movie? This seems weird. And then when it actually starts, and it does the flashback, it's like, oh, okay. what the hell was that? They should fire that editor.
Yeah, it was a very bizarre opening sequence.
Yeah.
But then again, that's what inspired the Matrix. That slow down bullet time.
That wasn't slowed down bullet time. There was a guy smoking a crack pipe.
Yeah, slow down,
Yeah.
slow
I'm
down
just-
crack pipe. Neo comes
I'm
in and
just trying to
starts
make
dodging the
a connection
smoke.
to. Yeah, this was the prequel to the Matrix. That
Yeah.
was Morpheus before he became Morpheus.
Ah, yes.
What's weird is like that scene happens later in the movie, and
Yeah, it's
it
like
isn't
it's,
slowed
it's only
down.
like 10 minutes later or so. Like it's not even that long away from the opening credits.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, it just took me off guard, and like Tay said, I was like, oh, I hope that the rest of the movie isn't like edited this weirdly, and it's not.
Yeah.
But like that opening sequence
Spoiler.
is just a very strange one of the weirdest opening sequences in my opinion. Just very weird.
Yeah. Just music playing and just a 10-second scene played for like 3 minutes.
Yeah,
It's
felt longer.
So weird.
ridiculous.
Yeah. The platform I watched it on, it was I think just Tubi because it was free. So I had ads, and I don't know if it was the ads that messed with it or not. But like occasionally when it would cut scenes, there would just be random flashes of like other scenes in like just frames of them just flashing for a split second, or it would kind of go back in time. I assumed it was just the Tubi version and
Yeah,
not the actual version.
I didn't have that, and I was watching the Amazon version, so it must be Tubi.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I figured, but I just wanted to verify.
Now that would be a strange editing choice.
Yeah.
Here after the scene, we flash back to the second of something else 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I think the Amazon had like the 4K upscaled version of the movie, which was very crisp, very clean. It was an enjoyable viewing experience, I guess I would say.
Yeah. I didn't want to pay this time, and I was just lying in bed. I woke up and went, oh, I gotta watch it. So I just watched it on my phone.
On your fucking phone?
Oh wow!
My phone, when it's 6 inches from my face, is the same size as my TV that's like 10 feet away from my face when I'm on the couch.
I was just
What about
quoting
surround
the
sound?
late great David Lynch, who had he said that in an interview. He was like, "People are watching movies on their fucking phone." Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Rest in
Well, I don't
peace.
have surround sound, Callus, so it doesn't matter if I watch
sad.
it on my phone or not.
I don't know why I'm saying that because I don't have surround sound either.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing my TV can do that my phone can't is be in 4K. And my phone might be able to. I don't know.
So, obviously, this movie is very much 90s,
Mhm.
and
Very.
the soundtrack felt like a PS2 game for most of it, like a PS2 soundtrack.
Yeah.
Which I was vibing with. Like it was fun. It was bumping. Obviously, when the tone drastically shifts in the movie, it goes away from that. But like like the first like hour or so of the movie, I was like, damn, this soundtrack kind of slaps hard. Like they're going hard with this shit. And it just sounded like a PS2 soundtrack for like an a third person like shooter game or something like that. It was awesome. Or like a snowboarding game or something like that. I could definitely see this soundtrack being used for those things.
Yeah.
For sure, definitely
I
fit the
agree.
vibe. Especially with the setting and with the mostly hip hop music or like it'll switch to like the very tense music on the more dramatic scenes. I feel like a very few times the music did kind of like throw me off a little because it was just a little bit distracting. I don't know. You guys might remember better, but I feel like there were a few scenes that were just a little bit distracting. But for the most part, it was really good.
There was a few that kind of took me out, but I think the biggest one that took me out, and like it makes like when a movie starts with that flashback, it's like, oh, it's a Christmas movie because it starts playing a Christmas song. It's winter, but it's just for that first little flashback scene. I am slightly jumping forward. You find out, his dad robs the bank or the liquor store, not the bank, and then dies and gives the kid the money he stole, and like they didn't take it back. Like he has that money still with him as an adult.
It's crazy that he's held on to it all these years.
Right? Well, and it's crazy that they didn't take it as like evidence, or just like the liquor store's like, hey, that's our money that your dad just tried to steal. Give it back.
He's still got the whole wad in his hand. Like they didn't even take anything back. Although
Yeah.
the owner did, or whoever was there, did end up dying too. So maybe they were like, well, whatever.
That's the least
I
of our
mean, like,
worries.
what evidence was there to take? I mean, it was just guy tried to rob the store and he got shot.
Good luck, kid. Here's some bloody money on your way
Yeah.
out.
I mean, we don't know if his
And it's
mom
still
was still
bloody.
alive or if he got put in foster care because of it. They don't like touch on that at all.
Was there foster care in the 70s?
Yes, I believe there was.
Haven't you ever seen that movie Oliver Twist?
Actually, no, I have not.
Oh. Well, that wasn't foster care. That was they just put him in an orphanage that was run by like horrible people. Not always, but in the movies they are always run by horrible people.
Usually, yeah.
Movies, books, Lemony Snicket, they had like a boarding school that they went to that was also run by
Yeah.
a terrible person. So,
Yeah.
True.
but yeah, I think that actually I just want to know blanket statement, like what did y'all think of this movie? Because I personally found it a very enjoyable watch. It was pretty intense at times, and I really liked Jeff Goldblum's character in this. Like, I know it's a bit of an odd, I guess, role for him, I should say. I did like. I mean, well, let me shut up. What did you guys think? Did you like the movie at least?
Overall, yeah, I did. There was a few like weird. I thought some kind of weird choices, but overall, like I said, yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's funny because when I first watched it, which was like a week ago, I was like, yeah, this movie's alright. It's pretty good. But then, like, as the days went on, and I started thinking about the movie, it like started thinking about more and more, and thinking about like the specific story beats and elements, and like the more I thought about it, the more I liked it. So yeah, the story stuck with me for days, and I just liked it the more I thought about it. So yeah, the movie was really good.
Well, I hated it. So.
Oh no!
That doesn't surprise me.
I thought it was really slow and really boring, and I'm not a huge fan of violence, so it was already kind of by the get-go I was like, well,
Whoops.
here we are.
Yeah. Like that's kind of how I kind of felt first. I was like, I feel like there was times like just throwing around the N-word just to like.
Yep.
It felt like you guys are just doing this for like shock value, kind of.
I literally
like.
looked to see if what's his name?
Whoa.
Oh, the inspector, the officer that hired him.
No. Hold on.
Holding.
I'm trying to think of the director's name. I can't.
Oh, the director's name is Bill
No.
Duke.
Yeah, so I thought that it was Quentin Tarantino. That's his name. I literally looked to see if he was the director just because of the use of the N-word. He tends to do that a lot. So I was like, is this one of his? Is this his doing? And then I found out that it wasn't, and I was like, I don't know if I would have had respect either way. So.
It would have been more stylized if it was Quentin Tarantino. I don't know.
It would make more sense. Not that it would make me any more or less uncomfortable, but yeah. Just not my style of movie.
Well, yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
saying
like,
that I'm gonna run around saying the N-word after watching this movie, but I mean, they did lay it on pretty thick during the opening. Well, I guess it's not the opening scene, but that scene pretty early on where the detective is like interviewing the three different policemen. You get the three different reactions, but I think it served a purpose in the narrative. So I think that
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
go
was a
ahead.
douchebag about it. Like he was like he definitely could have gone about it a better way, but yeah, at the end of the day, he did hire the best person for the job, and he was spot on with his assessment of Lawrence Fishburne's character.
Yeah.
So
It just makes me uncomfortable personally.
I mean, for sure, yeah. I wonder how the actor felt having to say that 3 times.
Well,
Yeah.
they get paid a lot of money. Plus, it's a character too, right? No one's walking around saying, "Oh, Jeff Goldblum, he's a racist for saying the N word in this movie." Like, no one's walking around saying that. Obviously these are characters, and you have to kind of be absorbed into the world of the movie. But it is hitting you in the face like multiple times, almost immediately in this one, and you're not really sunk into the world yet and the scene. But also, it's also like a time period piece too, because this is equivocally the 90s, and the F slur gets thrown around, and obviously the N word still gets used a lot nowadays, but it was more widespread within the Caucasian community to also just like say that to African American people. So
Yeah.
it definitely is more of like a of the time type dialogue. And with the movie being released in 1992, they obviously were writing from probably experience, because I believe it was a African American director and writer for this movie. So I'm thinking that they were drawing from experience in the world during the early 90s, late 80s.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's what I was
Yeah.
planning to say. It was like, was it a black director / writer? Because that does ease it a little bit, I think.
A little. I think it just makes me uncomfortable anytime a white person says that word. Like, I don't care who directed them to say it.
As it should. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't take anything away from the movie scene as one, it is a fictitious story, and two, it is very much an of the timepiece, time period type movie.
Yeah. For sure.
There's that too. I think he also asked if Quentin Tarantino directed it, and I thought that was kind of funny.
I think your mic cut out for the first part of your sentence there.
Gosh dang it. So which part did you not hear? Like what did you last hear, I guess would be a better
the first
question.
thing we heard was like he thought something.
Oh, he thought that was funny because
Who was
he
the
knows
he?
my fiance. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, so I was talking to Bad Dot Brown, who is my fiance, who is also black, and he asked me how the movie was, and I said, well, it made me uncomfortable because they said the N-word a lot, and then he started laughing at me because he knows that it makes me uncomfortable a lot, and then he asked me if Quentin Tarantino directed it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but so really, it's just a me thing. It's a personal preference, uncomfiness. It's like someone saying moist.
Well, you just said it yourself.
Well, I mean, that doesn't make me uncomfortable, but it does to a lot of people.
Right.
I guess that was my
Well, I mean that's also like hearing the F slur being thrown around. It's also a bit uncomfortable too, especially with how hard they laid it on throughout the movie as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Though. Yeah, I mean the dialogue can be a bit rough, but like I said, it didn't like. Sure, it did like, especially early on, it punches you in the face, but when you look at it from the point of view of like, okay, this is like they're trying to replicate the inner city. They're trying to replicate, how these people would be talking in these scenarios, and
yeah, it makes sense.
So there were times. Oh, sorry, you can go ahead if it's related to what we were just talking about.
Go ahead. Nothing important.
Okay, I was gonna say, especially at the beginning of the movie, a lot of the scenes like kind of felt a little disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just didn't, like there was his talking over the narration, but it just felt like we weren't getting the whole story. Where it's just like, yeah, I'm here. Now I'm a drug dealer. It's like, wait, what? How did this happen? and like he was introduced. I don't know. It just felt a little disjointed at first. Like they were just trying to get to the, him being the big kahuna, I guess we'll say, faster, and so it just felt a little quick, a little disjointed, a little weird, for me at least. I don't know how you guys felt.
I can
Yeah, I did
agree
not
with
feel
that,
that.
because I felt like the movie didn't really start to come together until they met with Larry, Larry's character in that boxing gym with Jeff Bloom. I felt like that's when the movie really started to come together for me.
Yeah.
Um, because that interaction is one of the best in the movie, where Jeff Goldblum immediately is like, he's a cop, and he walks away. And after that,
That was funny.
I felt like the movie just kind of melded together better from there.
Mm-hmm.
That only happens that happens at around the 30-minute mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a little while to get to it.
Okay. All right. I didn't feel like it was disjointed, but I guess that's just me.
Yeah.
Also,
I do like
they show that like kid and the
go ahead.
mom at the beginning too, with the kid playing the game. I'm like, oh, he's definitely like adopting this kid later on, isn't he? And what do you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
He may have. They don't really specifically say if he adopted him, or he's just like, I'm taking it to your mom's grave and then straight to the orphanage. We gotta pay our respects.
I guess
I
we'll
gotta
never
give
know.
her this blood money.
They got to make a sequel, Deep Cover 2.
I mean, I guess he was holding on to him like the boy was his. I don't know.
This is what it looked like to me. I just felt like maybe they could have during that beginning, like I know they showed him like, talking to the kid and what, having a little bit of a relationship there, but I feel like it could have maybe gone a little bit, a little bit more detail into that, or maybe a few more scenes interlaced here and there, because pretty much as soon as he has that argument with his mom, after that, like you don't even see the kid until the end, like when his mom is overdosed. And there's like this whole like 30 minutes part of the movie where you don't even remember that the kid exists.
Did they not show the kid when? No, they did show the kid when the mom died. They showed him briefly.
Yeah, they showed him very briefly. He's in the corner playing the Game Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, oh yeah, the Reverend cop. When he's like, "This is your fault, by the way." It's like, he didn't supply her the drugs. She was already on them before he showed up.
Yeah.
Also, if you think I supplied her the drugs, why aren't you arresting me?
I don't know.
They need hard evidence, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. No hard evidence.
That guy who was like a preacher was a little bit. I felt like he was a little bit like out of the like
the cop priest.
He just didn't feel like he fit into the movie. Like his whole vibe just seemed like it was from a different movie. I don't know. It was very weird. Anytime he showed up, he just looked out of place or sounded out of place.
That I kind of felt too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like he was kind of doing a terrible job also. Like he was
He was kind of the worst.
Because first he tries to bust that one guy that ended up writing out Russell, aka Larry, and then like he captures him, but like he doesn't say anything, and like I don't know, and then he just doesn't do anything else until the end of the movie.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden
The whole middle part is just like watching and doing nothing.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Larry, I keep calling him Larry. Larry is character is all of a sudden like, weeping over him. I just felt like they didn't really have that relationship, and maybe it's just because, he had to be so undercover, that he couldn't let his emotions show. Sure, but it did seem like, I don't know, it was kind of like that whole reveal at the end just felt like it was a bit forced, because he's like talking into the radio, and while the guy's dying, and Jeff Goldblum's like, "What did you do? What's going on?" I just felt like,
I felt like just seeing a fellow officer go down was enough for him to kind of break. But
Yeah,
I do like Jeff Goldblum's like he's like, I am a cop, and he's like, oh, that's fine. It's like, yeah, he's a defense attorney. He doesn't
he
care.
can still do it. Yeah, I just felt like that whole sequence just felt off. I mean, it does have a good payoff at the very end of the movie with the video recording, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as that preacher cop shows up, like that movie kind of, or not that movie, that scene loses its steam.
Well, see, the way I see it personally is like he's had to do like so many horrible things being undercover, and like he's been suppressing all of it for, they don't really specify how long, but I imagine, months and months and years.
Yeah, I'll say it's probably like a year or two.
Yeah, and I feel like he's had to deal drugs. He's had to shoot a guy and kill someone, and I feel like seeing a fellow cop go down like that, that was like the straw that broke the camel's back for him, and that's when he just had a complete breakdown of all this stuff that he's been suppressing this whole time.
But this happens after the whole falling out with the detective who put him in charge of the case.
That is true.
And he starts using his own drugs. He starts banging the dealer chick, and he starts making.
No, he was banging her before that, I think.
Well, anyway, he's making that new drug, and he's gonna be the one to put it out onto the street. So it's like he's already made this character change where he's like, I don't give a fuck. Now I'm just fully that guy, that drug dealer guy.
Yeah.
So when he breaks down about the preacher, who honestly isn't really that strong of a character anyway, it just kind of is like, okay, well, sure. He breaks now out of all the times to break.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, it did feel a little like he's like, I quit being a cop. I'm just going to be a drug dealer because they make more money. And then he goes around doing that for a little bit. And then suddenly, yeah, he just is like, actually, no. You killed my reverend cop.
Do you think he was like still going as a means to take down the like the top dog himself without the cops' help?
Well, seeing as he
Like
had
he was
the one guy
continuing-
recording, there's definitely probably was something there. But if Jeff Goldblum and the guy who kind of looked like who do you look like? He looked like Jack Nicholson a little bit. Jeff Goldblum had to be wondering why they were videotaping the conversation or videotaping everything, right? Because he was in on the plan. I don't know. It's weird. Was he still deep undercover, or was he actually the scumbag drug dealer? Well, turns out he was still deep undercover.
Yeah, that was not to jump like all the way to the end, but I like how everything was resolved at the end, because like so many times these type of movies just end on a bad ending, or like the protagonist getting killed or some disaster happening.
Yeah.
Movies like Belly, like Scarface. There were a couple Scarface references actually in this movie. Oh, that was cool. But yeah,
Also a lot of Terminator references.
That is true also, yeah.
Even a straight call out. Go watch Terminator at Blockbuster.
Real quick, can I tell you guys a quick story?
Sure.
When I was 5 years old, which was 92 maybe, I don't know. I had this like very clear memory of my mom wanted me to. It was like time for me to go to school. It was kindergarten, and I just did not want to. I was like in tears. I hated going to school. I just wanted to stay home and playing video games. But she was like, "Oh, how about this? How about when you get on the bus, I'll be like, hasta la vista, baby." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I dried my tears, and I got ready, and then I went and I got on the bus, and then she was like, "Hasta la vista, baby." And I'm like, "How the heck do I know that quote at 5 years old?"
That's
Just
so
because
cute.
everybody was that is a cute story, but everyone was quoting that movie. Like I didn't see that movie until I was like in after high school, and I still knew about that. Like it was in
It's like-
Casper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not remember that. Maybe that's where I learned it.
Yeah, that's like, I think Casper said it. Casper said it too. What's her face? It's like, I'll be back and hasta la vista. Those lines were quoted so much in pop culture.
Yeah.
So even if you didn't see Terminator, you probably
I definitely didn't see it. That was a rated R movie that's super violent.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
You all remember my mom subjected me to Jaws when I was like 10 years old. So
true.
to this
say
day,
I got
to this day, she denies it, but I remember very clearly.
so I remember seeing Jaws at a very young age. I think around 7. And basically, yeah, I was afraid of baths
Yeah.
for quite a long time.
I was like, I just want to play Roller Coaster Tycoon on the PC. And my mom was like, no, you have to watch this movie. I'm like, why? Well, there we were.
Because you need trauma.
Yeah, well, yeah. If we go go back to the Terminators episode, not Terminator, Tremors episode, which is the first episode with Callus in season 2, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
told the story about how my dad had me watch Tremors, and I was afraid to let my dog outside and onto the ground because for the longest time.
Who
That's
was
funny.
it that was also forced to watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space as a young child? Was that you or
that was
Greedy?
me? That was me.
It was you. Okay.
Yep, that one scarred me for life.
Yeah, I remember seeing Aliens, just parts of Aliens as a kid, and it also screwed me up.
I could
I was
totally
afraid of
see that being the
escalators.
trauma of the year for you.
Yeah.
Even as an adult,
Yeah.
there's some pretty sick moments in that.
Yeah, like I said, there was, I think, the scene where they fall, it almost seems like an escalator, but they fall underwater, or the girl falls underwater, and I just remember thinking, well, that's an escalator. That means escalators are scary. If you go on an
the only,
escalator, you could end up in a pool of water where Jaws is, and also an alien.
Oh no!
Jaws and an alien
Jaws,
at the same
alien
time.
combined. Facehugger Jaws.
Yeah.
No, the only movie that I was subjected at a very young age was Poltergeist. That gave me nightmares
Yeah,
for a very long time.
That's pretty
I still
intense.
I still have never seen Poltergeist, so
All right, I'll add to my
Oh,
list.
man.
It's a classic.
I haven't either, actually.
Oh, okay, all right. Have you at least seen The
Ooh,
Omen?
next recommendation.
I don't think I've seen The Omen.
Oh my god.
I may have seen The Omen. Can't
I'm not sure if
confirm,
I've seen it.
though.
Oh my gourd. All right, I'm writing these
Oh
down.
my god.
I'm writing these
No.
down. Classic
write them down.
horror movies that we need to
Not
watch.
scary movies.
Kind of like scary movies.
I'm a baby when it comes to scary movies, so
Yeah. I don't mind scary movies, but also I don't usually go out of my way to see them.
I need someone to hug me for the
Yeah.
whole time.
The problem is you see them,
Yemmy?
you're like, oh, that wasn't scary, and then at night you're like, oh, but what if
Oh,
it
that was
is
scary.
true? Now that the lights are off and I'm alone in a bed,
Nah,
scary as hell.
I usually seek out horror movies, I especially like to get the horror movie theater experience.
Yeah.
And I talked about this when I first saw it, but that I'm still chasing the high from that Talk to Me movie with the porcelain hand. That one legitimately scared me, and my heart was racing for 30 minutes after the ending. And I've been chasing that high of actually being scared by something since that movie. And I mean, there really hasn't been anything that's been scary per se. There's been some horror movies that I've enjoyed for sure, but nothing that affected me much like that Talk to Me movie.
I don't even know what movie that is.
Interesting.
All right,
I've heard of it, but
adding that to the list. All right.
I know that movie, but I have not seen it.
Yeah, it's a new horror classic. It really is. It was very good. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of horror movies that come out that are just kind of throw in the bin kind of things. But every once in a while, you get the horror movie that's okay, that was actually really good. And The Substance from last year actually won an Oscar, which is kind of crazy. You could also
That's
say
the
that
one with Demi Moore.
yes, it is.
I liked Nope and
Nope is. Wait,
Nope
have I
is
seen
good.
Nope?
Nope is the I guess I shouldn't say it's a spoiler, but Nope is
Yeah.
the movie where they're on a farm and
Range.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have not seen
strange
that.
things
I'll
are
add
happening.
Nope to my list.
I want to. That one I want to watch.
Actually,
That one
I
looks
was like, that might
interesting.
be my suggestion for this time because
I will accept that.
it's a good movie. I enjoyed it.
y'all are making me
Speaking,
there's. Oh, go ahead, Gallus.
no, you first. You first.
There's a movie that I watched a while ago, and I don't remember what the name is, and I'll have to look it up. But that might be my next recommendation. It's kind of like a thriller. It's very good. It's forget when, like, 2017 came out.
What's it about?
I think it's called Your Next.
Oh, You're Next.
Yes, yeah, 2013. Basically they go to, like, there's a big family, and they have like a cabin, and this guy invites his girlfriend to come along to, like, for this fun, weekend away, and then freaky things start happening. That's all I'm gonna say.
Strange things are
Ew.
happening in nowhere.
I'm interested in this.
Should we say the next group of movies should be like Halloween in July, kind of like I think
Might,
do like
might just be that way.
by the
a
time that it
spooky
gets
May.
back around to me, it should be back to maybe it'd be June, Halloween in June. Yeah, let's think about doing that.
Jump scare June.
There
That's what
we
should
go.
call it.
Jump scare June, locking it in.
Jump scare June.
I'll try and remember.
Speaking of scary movies like Talk to Me, Yemmy, why don't you talk to me about Deep Cover?
Hey.
Good segue.
I think my favorite scene from Deep Cover, getting back on track, is the scene where Larry and Jeff Goldblum meet the informant guy, who's the informant inside of that theater area. I thought that was a very well written and intense scene, and strangely enough had some stuff that kind of relates to nowadays with like Jewish hate and all that. I thought it was that was probably like the most interesting scene in the movie. Honestly, I was very much enthralled during that dialogue sequence.
Gotcha. Where he's
Hold
like,
on,
I want a
inside
Jewish
the-
lawyer and a black man.
Yeah. There's like a Callus. You should probably remember this because there was a woman she started off in a nun costume and then she stripped.
That. Okay. No, because when you said theater, I was like thinking of completely wrong things. So yeah.
Well,
no,
there is another theater scene which I also really
There's
liked.
a few.
Yeah, the one where they go in there and they just like shoot the fucking mob boss.
Yeah, so the one
Yeah.
you were talking about was after they were in the little like birthday strip club scene. 'Cause that's when he was pissed at Jason and John or whatever.
Yeah, just go by Jeff and Larry. But yeah,
I gotta go back and watch that scene again because I was too busy focused on the nun to pay attention to
Yeah.
what was going on.
twice. But yeah, that scene and the one where the underling drug dealer gets like beaten to death with a cane was also like two of the scenes that I was very much like enthralled by. I'll use the word again. Fuck it. Those two scenes were, I think, the best written and also the best acted of the movie. And I thought that that scene where the guy gets beaten to death was just so like
Visceral.
yeah, it was visceral. It was a
Visceral's a
visceral
good
moment.
word.
Yeah, it was shocking to say the least. Like
It was shocking that he went after the boss guy with a fork first.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what were you thinking?
well, yeah, he was
And they-
obviously jumped up on something. He was high.
Yeah, and then he tried to like apologize profusely.
I liked the scene where they were delivering the $1 million to like the second highest guy in the movie theater, or I guess outdoor theater, and like I was thinking like they're the talkovers talking about how like this guy's probably gonna kill him. They gotta do something. And like my thought was, why don't they ever just like hide a gun in the money briefcase and pull it out and shoot him? And then they did that. And I was like, nice.
Tay's like, did I write this? Hold on.
Oh, shit. I forgot, guys. I wrote this when I was 7.
Damn.
Wow.
Ahead of your time.
I had a messed up childhood.
Yeah, I think those two scenes were the ones that really stuck out to me. I guess also the courtroom scene at the end was also pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty good scene.
honestly, and the original court scene case where like Larry's like, oh no, how am I going to get out of this? And then Jeff Goldblum comes in, and he's like, yep, and this is done.
That was
Turned out it
pretty
wasn't
slick.
drugs.
Ray, I know you didn't enjoy the movie, but did you have a scene that you thought was at least good?
Um,
Nope. All right.
I'm trying. Hold on. Give me a minute. When Jeff Goldblum's character was like being a hard ass and getting his knuckles broken, for some reason I enjoyed that scene.
Yeah, that was the
Like,
one
Hold
that was
on,
when the nun was dancing in the background.
oh, that was that scene. Okay.
Yeah, that was also
well,
very
she went
moment.
away at that point. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
took her away.
I was just trying to
It made
jog
the scene
Callus's
worse,
memory.
honestly, but
Yeah.
What'd you say, Tay?
which made the scene worse, honestly, but it was still a good scene.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it. I was like, oh, huh, and kept pushing. So.
I was trying to look up if this movie won any awards. It was nominated for a couple things, including a NAACP Outstanding Lead Actor in a Motion Picture for Lawrence Fishburne. Chicago Film Critics Association gave Jeff Goldblum a nomination for his supporting character. And Bill Duke was nominated for the Tokyo International Film Festival for directing it, but there was no wins for this one, and I don't even see any Oscar nominations on the IMDb page for it, which is kind of crazy to think about. I mean, you feel like this movie would have gotten some awards at the or at least a nominated for something at the Oscars. Is kind of crazy.
What's crazy is that I've actually never heard of this movie before Yemmy recommended it.
Yeah, same.
I hadn't either. In fact, as Yemmy knows, when I was streaming the other day, Topos asked me what movie it was. I was like, I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up. Luckily, Yemmy was in chat and was able to tell us.
So this,
Well,
I
I'll be
feel like-
I'll be honest. I didn't know about this movie either until I saw it on the list of movies on that Letterboxd playlist. So yeah,
it's
we're
interesting. This is
all
like the
babies for this one.
this is like the type of movie that I think could have been a cult classic, and I think the only reason it's not is because it did not end in a tragedy like so many other cult classics do.
Interesting.
Well, maybe it's a tragedy for the person who really liked that detective guy and thought he was the greatest character.
Yeah.
Which is who? Yeah, because like if you think about it, when like at the beginning of the movie, he says, when his shot gets killed, when he's narrating, he said, I swear I will never going to end up like this. And that's when I was thinking, oh, it's probably going to end like that. Because, so many movies have done it by now. So many iconic movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of the ones I referenced earlier, like, Scarface. But, yeah, the fact that it didn't end in a tragedy and actually kind of had a resolution to the story and he ended up winning at the end, like, I feel like, I don't know. I
did
enjoyed
kinda
that
like
ending. But
Yeah, the twist of him not dying and him actually just going, oh yeah, I am taking this guy down.
yeah, I feel like that was refreshing. Considering
I
that so
like
many
how
movies
all
do
the
the
senators
opposite.
are immediately like, oh no one can see this tape. It's like trying to protect him. It's like, yeah, fuck you guys.
Yeah,
He's
that
like,
was
I already
good.
gave it to the press. It's like good.
Yeah, it's a rare win for the quote unquote hero of the story.
Yeah.
I guess it would have been poetic for him to die like his dad did. Just trying to scrape some cash or steal some cash from the liquor store. But it definitely wouldn't have been as satisfying as him essentially outing that politician for his drug dealing. So
Poetic, that's the word I was thinking of. Yeah, like when a tragedy happens to the end, to the protagonist when he's young, and then he grows up, swearing that he's never gonna be that, and then ends up ending up there anyways.
yeah, there's so many stories like that though. As you said, there's so many
Yeah.
stories where if this was maybe written by a different person, it probably would have ended where he gets cut off from the force and funding goes away and Jeff Goldblum like leaves him after he does the whole thing with the preacher, and then you see him like do the time card of like 15 years later and he's trying to steal money from a liquor store and get shot. I mean, that's like an alternate universe ending that we got for this movie, and in that universe, it's a cult classic, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice
Yeah,
to
'cause
have
this
a little
was,
bit of subversion of your expectations.
It could have been a cult classic, yeah, because this movie came out in the early 90s, and I feel like, yeah, there were a couple movies that did it already by then. Like, so many more movies have done it now.
Well, anyone else have anything they want to say about the movie?
I'm good.
I've said my piece.
I think I'm good, yeah, too, yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and go with our final thoughts and rating for the movie. And just for the audience members, Callus is taking Greedy's spot not only on the podcast but in placement. So he's going to have the after me, he'll be after me in the review section, and then he will also be after me in the film recommendations. We thought it might as well just take it because Tay was like, well, I'm always the one with the recommendation, the fan vote, and we don't want Yemmy to learn a new script for the opening of the podcast, so we'll just keep that as.
It's true.
Yep, that's exactly what I said. Is Yemmy can't handle a script change.
I can't do it. I already struggle enough with the intro, and I've said it like 130 something times. So. Well, okay, -1 because I wasn't there for one episode.
Just one
Wow.
episode.
However, anyway, let's do our final thoughts and rating. I will go first, of course, because it was my pick, and I didn't have any expectations going into this movie. I do like Lawrence Fishburne, but I didn't really have any expectations here. And I was just hoping for a movie that was interesting and a bit gritty, and had a good story to it. And I felt like this one checked all those boxes. There was a few things that I was a bit iffy about. Some of the dialogue choices, especially during the very beginning, probably could have been toned down a little bit and ease you into the setting of the movie a little bit. And I did think that like we talked about it, but some things at the ending were just a little bit like, okay, here we go, with the preacher, police officer, and all that stuff. But I really love the soundtrack. I could probably pull up that soundtrack and listen to it any day because it was like so fun. I thought that everyone did a pretty good job with performances. I thought Jeff Goldblum was very good in this movie, along with Larry Fishburne. And I landed on a 4 out of 5 for this one.
Cool. So I also agree with what you said. I feel like everyone did a phenomenal job with the acting. The story was really good. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, man, that's like a really impactful story. The way that Russell begrudgingly accepted this job, and like he ended up being like really good as a drug dealer, but he had like this internal struggle where he wanted to do good and like make the world a better place, and yet there he was selling drugs and like shooting people, and like you could just see the internal struggle that he was going through, and to ultimately end up winning and like going after the big forward politician was a big win for him, and I was really happy that he ended up getting there. And I feel like this movie was like really good. Like it got me thinking about it a lot, days after I watched it, and because of that, I feel like this movie, did what it was supposed to do. It made me think about things. And anyways, I think I'm going on too long, so I'm just gonna give it also a 4 out of 5.
All right.
Okay. Well, for me, like I mean, Yemmy touched on it a little bit. Like the beginning felt a little weird and disjointed. Also, that weird editing choice at the beginning credits of just a 10-second scene drawn out for 3 minutes. Obviously, that's not like a movie killer where you see that and go, oh, well, this movie's garbage. Luckily, it did pick up. I think the acting was pretty good. Besides, I think the druggy mom next door, like some of her acting was just a little over the top for me. And I don't know, maybe she just was trying to be more druggy, but I don't know. It felt a little odd for the rest of the movie. And like for everyone else, like did a really good job. Yeah, overall, like I said, it was a interesting story. Maybe not the funnest story, but
Definitely not.
and I feel like there were a few loose ends that like they kept like hinting at would like oh this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, and then they never did. But overall, like I enjoyed it as well, and I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Okay. Well,
You can just say 2 and move on.
G
No, I'm
stage,
sorry.
give it away.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Just you can go.
Normally, even if I don't like if it's not my taste, I try to appreciate it for what it is, like as a movie in its own genre and style. Couldn't even do that for this one. I don't know why. It just was not my thing, and I didn't think the acting was great in it. Very like I didn't like any of it. And I
Wow.
hate to say that. I know. I actually do feel kind of bad for saying that, but this is just
No, don't feel bad.
this jelly was not my jam. So I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5.
You said
It
a 2
happens.
out of 5?
Yeah.
It happens. You don't have to worry. Sometimes you watch a movie, you just don't vibe with it, and it's a hate watch eventually down the road.
Yeah, it's completely understandable. I mean, this whole reviewing stuff is subjective anyway, so
It's
It's
good
fine.
to have
That's
a
true.
different opinion too. Like we can't all agree with every every movie. We can't all agree on every movie. Gotta have some differences in there, which is why we have such
Also-
a fun group of people here.
exactly. And something that I want to start doing from this point forth is since I'm updating the spreadsheet live of like all the movies we've done, I'm gonna give an average score for the movie between all of us. So the average for this particular movie is 3.375.
All right,
Nice.
nice,
So good job, Deep Cover.
and good job, Callus, getting caught up on that
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Yes, that was. You know what's funny is the reason I stopped doing the spreadsheet in the first place is because it was getting so time consuming, just like going through the past podcasts and just like going to the review and just like waiting and listening to see what people's reviews are. But when I started it back up recently, I got so good at pinpointing exactly when the reviews were going to start. And like, I just need to listen to 1 second of it and I wouldn't know if whoever was talking just in general or was already in the middle of the review. Because people's tones kind of changes when they're giving a review. So I could tell, oh yeah, right away, that's a review. So I'm cool.
Nice.
So it was a much smoother when I picked it up recently.
Oh, all right. And now it'll be even more smooth because you'll just be
Yeah.
here updating it live.
Exactly.
Well, Callus, this is it's not your first time giving a small recommendation, right? But it is the first time being in season, like on the
Yeah.
podcast. I'll let you start if you have a small recommendation, which is just something that maybe you won't recommend on the for a movie, or maybe if you've been watching a TV show, reading a book, general life advice. We've had it all. What any small recommendations, Blue Man?
I do have one. Speaking of drugs, I recently finished watching.
Cocaine.
No, it's just a show about drugs. No, I just finished watching a show called. Freaking A, did I really just forget the name?
So
Common
I-
Side Effects.
Yeah, sorry, I messed up your mojo.
It's fine. The show is called Common Side Effects. It's a adult animation. I believe it's on Max.
I've heard of it.
It's about, yeah, it's really good. It's about this weird guy that finds a glowy blue mushroom. So I love it. That it literally can cure anything, like any disease, any sickness, sometimes even death. So like because he found that, naturally, like pharmaceutical companies and the government and like literally everyone wants to kill him, and he's after the DEA is after him, and all this crazy stuff happens.
Whoa.
And
that sounds
it's sort
interesting.
of it's sort of like a commentary on like IRL pharmaceuticals and stuff like that
Yeah.
also. But
Huh.
it's really good. The animation style is kind of weird. It's kind of reminds me of like King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead type of stuff. And it's funny because Mike judge is actually one of the voices for one of the characters. So
Ah.
Is it actually like written and directed and animated?
no,
Like,
it's not. It was inspired. I guess I don't know if Mike Judge had like he must have had like a big influence on it because I mean yeah he's even on it, but no, it was written and directed by other people.
Yeah, I loved King of the Hill. I watched through like the entirety of that show when I was like 16, between 16 and 18. I think that it covers such a broad. Actually, you know what? That's my small recommendation for today. Watch King of the Hill. I think that a lot of people meme on it because it's you know, it kind of has some goofy moments throughout, but I think the overarching like journey of Hank Hill and his family is very smartly written. It covers a wide range of topics from like drugs and abuse to kind of more lighthearted things like Bobby's listening to music that Hank doesn't understand, or you know, Luen is dating a guy that Hank doesn't like, but eventually, you know, because he realizes he's a good guy, and I think that it was like it's one of those shows, kind of like Futurama, that had a really good, strong ending for its final season, and now they're rebooting it. So I don't know what the heck's going to happen. Yeah, the King of the Hill is coming back. So much like the newer Futurama episodes, which I've enjoyed, but still, I think that the final episode for the last time they got canceled was a perfect ending. And I feel like the ending of King of the Hill is also like one of those perfect encapsulating endings. So yeah, you know, maybe watch some King of the Hill. Man.
Yeah, so King of the Hill's reboot though, like is like there's a time skip. It takes place like 20 years later, if I remember right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Kind of like I kind of like keeping a lot of those things up to my own interpretation. You know, like.
I love that show as a kid, but I don't think I ever finished it.
Yeah, I mean, I
definitely need to go back and watch more.
I started watching it when I was young because like there was the episode where Bobby's like kicking people in the balls and like that's funny. It's funny. But then you actually watch the show and like there's some really hard hitting episodes, like the episode where Cotton passes away. Like that one's still brutal ending on that one.
The episode where Hank loses his truck and gets really emotional.
Yeah, that
like his
one.
longtime truck.
There was also the one where they like go to Japan and find his long lost brother, which is also like a crazy sequence. It's a crazy.
I do not remember that.
I just like I said, it covers a nice wide range of topics, and it's not always just silly, like fun times. Like there's pretty hard hitting moments. So you know, in terms of like adult animation, like it's definitely one of my favorites next to like Futurama, where it's like, you know, I'll watch Futurama when I do want something goofy and maybe a little bit serious at times, but if I'm looking for like an overall like. You kind of watch it like a sitcom almost, right? Where it's like there's some fun moments, lighthearted moments, but there's also a lot of more deeper moments that are interlaced throughout the seasons of the show. So you know, just because Dale throws pocket sand at someone, you know, doesn't mean that the whole show is just nonsense like that. You know, there's a lot going on, and I do recommend people watch that if they haven't.
Okay. My small recommendation, I have two. One I've already recommended again, but I'm just gonna keep recommending it because the final episode of the season is next week. By the time this comes out, it'll have already happened. Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime, great show. Watch it. Especially this season has been really, really, really good. And then I've been listening to an audiobook called the series is called Dungeon Crawler Carl. And it's been a fun series so far, and if you're a gamer, I think you'll really enjoy it. And the audiobook is great just because the guy reading it does some really good voices and stuff. So that's my recommendation, is listen to it. But reading it's fine too, if that's what you want to do.
I don't know if I really have a small recommendation this time around. I feel like I've been really boring this episode, but
Go on vacation. That's your recommendation.
What is it?
No, I'm saying it isn't right now.
Go on. He said go on vacation. That's his recommendation.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, if you can. And I didn't even really go on vacation. I still worked the entire week, but I hate it here. So Go out and do something you enjoy for a whole week. That's my
Agreed.
recommendation.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Maybe try something different. Maybe work outside.
Yeah.
Or go to a park. I don't know.
Parks are fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, drum roll, Callus. It's time for your return recommendation for the podcast. What do you got for us?
Uh-oh.
I don't like that laugh.
Should I do it? Should I do it to you guys?
I'm scared.
Okay.
He's about
know
to
what,
he's about to recommend the most basic movie ever, and it's gonna be all.
One that he's gonna recommend one we've already watched.
Okay. Before I recommend this, I'm gonna ask: would you guys be okay with watching a movie that's over 3 hours long?
Oh my God, no.
Well, there you go, Callus. I mean, we've watched the Lord of the Rings movies on here, but
That's
done it before.
different. That's different.
well, what if the movie Callus is going to recommend is kind of like a Lord of the Rings-esque thing?
It's 3 hours and 7 minutes.
Oh, fine.
Well, let's hear it, and then we'll discuss.
Well, because I have another recommendation if you guys don't want to go for the 3 hour movie. So
Now I'm curious, Callus.
you want me to recommend it then? Is what you're saying?
You know what? Yeah, it'll be my fault if it's bad.
All right. We'll
You know
blame
what?
Ray.
Okay. I'm sorry, it's not a 90s movie though.
It's okay.
Wow, wow.
What were we gonna say, Yemmy?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Keep us in
So this is a
suspense, would you?
movie this is a movie that I watched about 2 years ago with my family, and it was a riot to the point where, like, when Yemmy invited me to come back to the movie, that's like literally the first movie that popped into my head because I've wanted to watch it again. Because it's just, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The movie that I'm gonna recommend is RRR.
Oh, I've heard about this one.
Okay, this has
Yes,
been on my list for quite some time,
Yeah.
Callus.
I'm excited. I didn't realize it was over
Yes.
3 hours though.
It is.
They won an
This
Oscar
movie
for
is
the
such a
soundtrack.
riot. For the soundtrack, yes. This movie literally has everything: comedy, action. It is a little bit overly violent, but also has like comedic parts and even like a musical number thrown in the middle of it because why not? And it is
It's
just
Bollywood.
like I watched it with my mom and brother, and like all three of us were like literally cheering watching this movie from like how, from like just how over the top and exciting some of the stuff is. So yeah, it's. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it. So the plot is: a fearless warrior on a perilous mission comes face to face with a steely cup serving British forces in this epic saga set in the pre-independent India. It is directed by S.S. Rajamouli, and it stars, I am gonna mispronounce every single name, but it stars N.T. Rama Rao Jr., Ram Charan, A.J. Devden, Ali Bhatt, Olivia Morris, finally a normal name, and Ray Stevenson, among others.
Nice.
Yeah, Callus, this is a good recommendation. This has been on my watch list since 2022. I've been interested in
Okay, good.
watching it since then. I don't really
Nice.
dip my toe into Bollywood movies, so it'll be a first for me. And I've also been listening a lot to a Indian metal band named Bloodywood. So it'll literally just complete the circle for me with Indian culture. So
Okay, before...
You know what?
Go ahead.
Nope, you go.
I was gonna say, before one of the angry listeners correct us, Yemi said Bollywood, which refers to any movie that comes out of India, but technically this is considered a Tollywood movie, which is like a Telugu movie, which, from my understanding, is sort of like the Hollywood of India, which is like where the real high production movies come from, where Bollywood is just like any movie that comes out of India.
okay.
Interesting.
So it's more of like a subgenre of Bollywood.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know what the difference is. I just know like I've seen some commenters online being angry about us, like people telling the difference.
Alright.
People getting angry that it's not Bollywood.
It's good to know. It's
I
good
mean,
information.
technically,
Yeah.
it's Hollywood because it came out of India.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's a distinction that apparently gets fans angry.
I'm
Well,
sure.
We
but-
won't even. You know what? We won't even say the word Bollywood next episode. How about that?
Yes.
Until we forget, because
Just add a T, Tollywood.
You know what? I apologize for acting so aggressively and dramatic towards a 3-hour movie. I do
Okay, cool.
apologize.
Well, all right. If you, the listener, don't want to be spoiled, or if you want to join the conversation for RRR from 2022, make sure you watch that before the next episode airs in 2 weeks. We'll reconvene and talk about the movie and other things, of course. Is there anything anyone else wants to say before we end this first episode of the season 4?
Don't forget to clean your ass.
It's back.
Wash your feet.
and your feet.
Did it ever go away, though? I don't think so.
It's been peppered throughout season 3.
All right. Well, I am Yemmy the Ferret, and I've been here with...
Callus.
Taymation.
Ray positivity.
And this has been another episode of Film Freaks with a Z. Thanks for listening. So long.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.